Live now.
Okay, good morning all. It's 9 o'clock, June 30th. I'm going to officially open up the morning session of the Board of Assessment Review. I'm going to first ask everyone to please rise and pledge the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. You can see it. I'm just going to read briefly the process, what's taking place today. As you are aware, we are conducting Grievance Day a little differently this year. We are holding it in person and via Zoom. We are also streaming the hearings live on the internet. Since the people in the room cannot see or hear what is happening on the computer, we will call those in the room up first, so as long as we have their grievance complaints available. Once all the people in the room have addressed the board, our host will allow those on the computer to participate by unmuting them. If you are participating on the computer, please look to the chat function in case the host is trying to communicate with you. Those participating by phone will go next, as we will need to speak to them to get their paperwork. If at any time we need to get paperwork delivered from the assessor's office, please be patient, as the documents must be driven over from a few blocks away. Finally, when it is your turn to speak, whether in the room or remotely, please be sure to lower your mask so that the court reporter may have an easier time hearing you. Be sure to state your name and address after you are sworn in. If you are appearing in person, you need not to touch the computer, but you must stand close enough to be heard and to hear the board through the speakers. We will now begin the hearing. Gail, you want to call up the first grievance?
Complaint number 159952. Tax map number 432, block 2, lot 10. Assessed value $18,500.
Thank you, Gail. The complainant here, Robert and Lori. Please come up and we're going to swear you in first. Mr. Wiggins, would you swear in Mr. Clayton?
Clayton? Yes, thank you.
Sure. Do you affirm that the information you give herein will be given accurately and truthfully to the best of your ability?
I do.
State your name and address, please, for the record.
Robert Clayton, 42 Browns River Road, 3, Bayport, New York.
Thank you.
Thank you. Good morning. Thank you.
Good morning, Mr. Clayton.
Good morning. Thank you so much for having me today.
How can we help you this morning?
Okay, this is an unusual situation. The homes on my street, most of them were destroyed by Hurricane Sandy. The house next door to me was basically destroyed or partially, and the state bought the house from the homeowner and knocked it down over 3 years ago. The town of Islip still has the land assessed as it was with still a house on it. I have been offered to purchase the lot from New York Rising for an amount of $11,500, which I have a signed and paid for contract. We're going to go to closing this week. It's delayed a bit because of because of the COVID-19 situation. We're supposed to close in April. Islip still shows the land value at $18,500. There is a covenant on the property that goes into perpetuity that I cannot build a structure. This has to remain as open space for recreation. I can't do any building on it. I can't put a garage on it. I can't do anything except leave it open space. So it was a program called the Lot Next Door program, which I'm the only lot next door. It's at the end of the street. There's a dilapidated bulkhead on it, and the lot was never graded up to high enough so it prevents it from flooding. So I said, you know what, let me take it over. Instead of leaving it out there and doing nothing, I'll take it from the state, I'll buy it. And do purchase it. I have a signed contract.
I can't hear you anymore.
There's
He's
no
not
way.
standing in front of the computer.
Should be assessed.
Please stand closer so
Sorry.
they can hear you.
The property should
Maybe
not be
remove your-
assessed as there
I'm
is a
sorry.
house on it. The property should not be assessed as there is a buildable lot. It's a very small lot. It's 0.15 of an acre. And the only thing I can compare to is this, is the end of, there's only 5 houses on my block. The last house on the block has a similar piece of property that's on the water, but he is over a half an acre, fully buildable, graded up, and he's assessed at $20,000. That's house number 64 Browns River Road.
I can't hear
My
you.
problem here is this,
House number what?
I'm sorry. The house number that I'm comparing to is 64 Browns River Road 3. He has 0.55 of an acre. His land is assessed at $20,000. If you combine my property, which is 0.21 at 42 Browns River Road, and the new lot of 0.15, that's 0.36, of which 0.15 is not buildable at all. Islip Town came back and said, if I want to join properties, they'll reduce it from 18.5 to like 61.5, which is still more than the guy down the block who has over a half acre, which is fully buildable at 20. I would beg to say that I would like this thing to be reduced, being that it's unusable land except for just viewing for it. I can't build on it, can't put a structure on it, can't pave it. To be reduced for the amount that I'm paying for based on 11,500. There's no way this house should be assessed, this land, I'm sorry, I'm only talking land now, to be assessed at such a high amount of 61.5. And it shows on, I think I sent that in with the documents, what the Islip Town came back at. When you combine it to mine. Now, I don't know if I want to combine it to mine. I don't have to combine it to mine. It's a separate lot, a separate property, separate deed, and it's just being used for open space, not to be built on. Again, it's a tiny piece of land that has a dilapidated bulkhead. I'm gonna have to put some money on it. I have to maybe grade it up a little bit so it stops flooding, but I really feel that the property should be assessed at the value that I paid for, which is 11,500, maybe assessed at $1,000. So that's my argument here. I hope you understand what I'm trying to say. It's an unusual thing. It's probably one of the first ones that have come up because this is what the state's offering now. Hurricane Sandy destroyed our homes and the house was knocked down, and I need to get this property reassessed or down to a normal amount so it wouldn't worth for me to pay for it, to get it back on the road, to get it maintained, to get the grass cut, to get it looking nice for the neighborhood. But again, currently, the state owns it. They're not paying any taxes on it. And I need this property reduced down to a market value of 11,500. Yes, I have the covenant. I have the covenant also. It's in my grievance, but I have an opinion.
Okay, Mr. Chairman, you're not unmuted. I don't know if you're speaking.
Hold on 1 second. All right, so you have a copy of the,
I have the copy of the
Contract?
copy of the covenant.
and you have a copy that we can put in with you?
Speaker. I can't hear the public guy.
Okay, you got to go back to the, okay. All right, sorry about that, court reporter.
I'm sorry, I apologize.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, let me speak first. So you have a copy of the contract,
Yes, sir.
and you can leave a copy of it with us today? or-
Yes, sir.
Okay.
In
so-
that contract, it has the covenant that's on the property. in
Well, that was my
perpetuity,
next question. So it has a
explaining
covenant.
that this land cannot be built, no structures can be erected.
All right, so you have the contract, you have the covenant,
Covenant,
and you're gonna leave that with us today?
yes, sir.
Okay. Take it. Is there any other questions of the board at this point, or the
I
assessor?
do have a small statement from the
Sure.
assessor's office. This is
Okay,
Ann
You have a
Hold on,
Dancer.
copy of
excuse-
what-
Excuse me 1 second.
Sure.
And if anybody from the assessor's office speaks, I just have to, I need you to be sworn in by Ed Wiggins at this.
Absolutely, I'm ready to be
Okay.
sworn in.
Ed, would you swear in Ann?
Sure. Do you affirm that the information you give herein will be given accurately and truthfully to the best of your ability?
I do.
Just restate your name.
Anne Marie Danziger, Danziger. Yes, I do recall Mr. Platten did come in and speak with our field staff, and she did come to me and discuss the options on this particular property. The one property that he was comparing with, I know in discussing it with my field staff, the lot that he plans on purchasing has more frontage, and frontage is very important for waterfront property. So she did provide information on what we could do in the event that he does purchase the property and consolidates both lots or leaves it alone, I believe. I don't know about the second half, but I know she did advise him what the assessment could be reduced down to. So we do have the possibility of entering into some type of
I don't hear her.
stip
I
with
have no
this
idea what she's
gentleman at the grievance stage.
Okay, we cannot hear you, Ann.
Did the board hear me?
I hear you.
Okay.
Okay. This gentleman can't hear.
Yes.
And-
Can you hear me now?
I hear you loud and clear.
I hear her. All right. Everybody
talk-
can hear me?
Yeah, no, hold on,
Except-
Ann. We're waiting for the complainant. Yeah. Okay, you can go ahead.
Hello, can you hear me?
Thank you. I would ask if you can start from the beginning. I didn't hear anything Ann said.
Hi, how are you?
I'm ex-
I remember speaking with my field staff. I know that you had reviewed this with Ms. Hassan, and we were able to evaluate the parcel that you plan on purchasing, which is next door to yours. And in comparison to the one that you were referring to, I know that the one you plan on purchasing has more frontage, and frontage is very important on the water.
I would seem to disagree with that. I'm sorry. He has actually a beachfront. A lot better than a dilapidated bulkhead.
So in any event, we did evaluate, that has been evaluated, and we did come up with a specific number that we would agree to.
I understand.
Thank
Which
you.
I unfortunately am disagreeing. And
No, I know, but also
I know.
whenever you buy something from the state, it's never necessarily, you know, an arm's market value. So, but it's, you know, wonderful to see people coming in for Grievance Day, and we certainly will honor whatever we told you we would in
Thank you.
our assessment estimate.
Okay, but here's my situation. I know that, see, I was the only one that can purchase this lot. It's a lot next door. I'm the only lot next door. Otherwise, it would remain with the state in perpetuity forever, and they would have to maintain it. It would be off the rolls of ISLIP taxes, and most likely unkept, because they weren't too good about taking care of the place. And in my defense, or my argument, is that again, this is completely unbuildable. Even though there's maybe there's not that much more frontage, and I would beg to differ, there's less. Because I've seen the property that these people live on, and they live next to a preserve. They have beachfront property. It doesn't flood. They were not flooded by Hurricane Sandy. And again, their entire more than half acre is graded up and completely buildable. He can put another house on that property if he wanted to. I can't even put a detached garage on this piece of property. I'm just doing it so it's going to be taken care of and maintained. I don't want to buy the property and have it cost me more in taxes over 5 years. I wouldn't want to buy the property and have it cost me more in taxes in 5 years than the actual market value that I paid for the property. It's not really fair. You know, I give back a lot to the town. I'm an auxiliary police officer with Suffolk County. I'm a sergeant with the Suffolk County SPCA. This is all volunteer work. And I felt that this would be a good thing for the town and myself to get it out of the state's hands and maintain the property, so it at least made the neighborhood look good and continue to take care of it. I really don't feel I should be paying something that is valued at what the town thinks, or the assessment tax people think of. The property is going to be worth $60,000 more to my house, and it's really not. If I could build on it, no problem. I would stick a house on it and make a fortune, but you can't. So it's just strictly out there for open space. And that's basically my argument. I appreciate your
Okay,
time.
Mr. Clayton. Just before you go, first I just want to ask anybody from the board that has any questions pertaining to this. Okay, there'll be no further questions. I'm just going to need a copy of, you can
I'll
give
give this
that to
young lady.
Gail, of the sale and the covenant.
Sure, thank you.
Thank you for coming.
I appreciate your
this morning.
time. Thank you, Joe.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Can everybody hear me?
Who's that?
This is William Graham.
Yes.
I just want to tell the applicant that the board will consider his arguments and take them into consideration when they consider the grievance. Thank you.
Okay, Gail, you want to, what's the next complaint number, grievance?
Sure. 159954 is the grievance complaint number. Tax map number 430-45. Total assessed value 40,500.
If the speaker could just lower their mask when they begin, that would be helpful, and speak very close to the computer.
Stolberg, good morning, Mr. Stolberg. Okay, first, before we start, I'm going to ask you to be sworn in by Mr. Wiggins.
Do you affirm that the information you give herein will be given accurately and truthfully to the best of your ability?
I do.
Please state your name and address for the record.
John Stolberg, 76 Hampton Street, Salem. Good morning, and thank you for your time. I have some paperwork here that I would like to make available, if I could. I
Hold on, Chip.
got a copy, more people here than I expected. So one of those is not actually complete.
Before we start, so you're grieving your assessment?
Yes, I am.
Okay, thank you.
And the origin of this is in December or January, whenever I was speaking with my neighbor, I was bemoaning the taxes. And we got to talking about numbers, and he said something was wrong. Consequently, that's why I'm here today. On the cover sheet that some of you have, in other words, hopefully the paperwork that I just gave you was distributed to the people up here. What the story is the houses are all frame construction, the ones in the comparison. They're the same vintage. But what I discovered in looking at the data was the 5 houses immediate to my property. My house's house part of it is assessed 60% higher than the 5 contiguous properties. And if you look at the page there, one of the sheets is not highlighted. But what I did was I took the house immediately to the north, which is the neighbor who I'd been speaking with, Charlie Hill, the 2 to the east, which are across the street, the one in the south, and then the one immediately behind me on the west, which is actually on Green Avenue. What I have on the data sheet there is the total assessments for each of these properties. And the land we can't argue about, so I subtracted that out and looked at what the house proper assessment is. To be able to compare these on an apples to apples basis, I divided the house assessment by the living area of each structure. Okay, and found out respectively that the average of $15.9 per square foot of town assessment was, I said, 60%, or my house was 25.52, is 60% higher on a per square foot basis than the other houses, which is egregious. What I'm looking for today was to get parity with my neighbors. And I, instead of using the 15.95, used $18 for my proposed assessment per square foot. And the reason I did that is there's an issue with the house to the south. In the data sheets for the town, it's listed as a 1-story structure. And I actually have a photograph there. It's a 2-story structure. Consequently, I don't know, looks to be the same as my house area wise if you look at it at 1 story. So I don't know how many rooms are in there or anything. And if you take that one as the other assessed value, looking at it as a 1-story house, the average comes out to be 17 something or whatever. Bottom line is, I am figuring at $18 per square foot based on the averages for the other houses there. And as such, I'm looking to have the assessment for the house part changed from 27,200 to 19,188, which I rounded off, added it to the property portion, and came up with a value of 32,500. Now, my question to you is this clear to everybody what I'm doing here in terms of taking the total value of the assessment, subtracted out the property for each of the other properties, and then worked out for parity the square footage of each one and found out that mine was absurdly high compared to the others. Okay, and I'm looking to make mine in line with that. Now, what I also have, bear with me for a second. Piece of subsequent to the filing of the grievance, I had a little time and I went one step further. And I took all the houses on the block. So you're getting a listing there. When you put all the houses into the hopper, the average goes up from the 15, whatever it was, to $18.48 per square foot. And I would be perfectly satisfied to go with that number instead of the 18. I think that's fair. So I'm looking for parity with all the houses on my block. There's one house that is not of the same frame structure. It's a brick house, which has, and I don't remember which one it is, has a slightly higher assessment per square foot. But clearly the numbers there show that all the houses on the block are reasonably close in terms of their assessment versus mine, which was significantly higher. How that happened, I have no idea. And it's been going on for a long time. In hindsight, a little sad about it.
Okay. So how long have you lived in this home?
We moved into that house in 1968.
Okay, so you've been here some time.
I didn't hear the year.
I think 1968, I think it was. Yes.
Okay, so you've been there for some time. Has there been any sales recently on your block?
Yes. And I don't know which one it is number wise.
Okay, and you know the amount that it sold for?
I do not. I don't know that that really makes a difference because I'm not talking about the true value. I'm talking about the best value, which is not germane. The other part of the story is the original owner of the house had to move out because they had twins. The same thing happened to us. Found out in the delivery when we had twins. So the present, this is a rental, right? Which really doesn't change the equation either because it's the value of the house. But what the personal part of it is, interestingly enough, my residence is in Sayville, bigger house, more property, and I'm paying less tax on that than I am on the rental. But when the lease expires in October, the plan is to downsize to go back to our house, the one we're talking about here. Consequently, number one, I would lose the rental income on it. The reason we're moving is because the bigger house is just much more than we can maintain at this point. So it's particularly important that we get this assessment to be in parity to that of our neighbors.
So currently it's a rental property.
Yes.
Okay. Also, is this house similar to in nature and character, size to all the other houses on the block?
It's a ranch. If you look at the areas, it's the smallest one in terms of square footage. There are two other ranches on the block. So yeah, it's comparable in terms of thing. It's a little older than some, but otherwise, with the exception of the one brick house, as I said, the vintage is essentially the same, and they're all frame houses.
Any other questions of the board?
Yeah, I have a question. Since 1968 to present, have you made any capital improvements on the home, such as a swimming pool, central air conditioning, added a bathroom, anything at all?
No, Well, with one exception, we changed over from oil to gas heat 5 years ago. That's the only change.
Thank you.
This is Bill Graham from the Town Attorney's Office.
Yep.
Sir, have you submitted any documents that you wish the board to consider that were not included in your grievance application?
Just the one that I just handed out, which was for the other properties on the block.
Okay, okay, sir, thank you. The board will consider your arguments and make a decision.
Okay, Mr. Stolberg, we appreciate you coming in, and we'll take it under advisement, and we'll notify you at the end of July. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much for your time and your understanding, and I hope we get parity with our neighbors. Have a good day.
Gail, you want to give us the next grievance?
Gail, if you could spell the name as well, that would be helpful.
Okay. Grievance complaint number 159956. Solano, Solano, tax map number 49283. Total assessed value 26,900.
Yeah, come on up, Mrs. Solano. Please,
Speak to the left.
how you doing? Please, I'm going to ask you to be sworn in first by Mr. Wiggins.
Sure.
Do you affirm that the information you give herein will be given accurately and truthfully to the best of your ability?
Yes, I do.
Please state your name and address for the record.
George Solano, 5 Windman Lane in Brentwood, New York, 11717.
Good morning, Mr. Solano. How may we help you today?
I'm here today because for my parents. My parents live with me in 5 Windman Lane. My dad is here with me today. During May, we received a letter from the town that they have forgotten to fill out the STAR application for the reduction of taxes. That is a tremendous help for him. And I wanted to see if there was any way that you guys can reconsider and forgive him for being so late.
Any reason why it wasn't, why they didn't get it in on time?
Well, what I can tell you right now is that they've been a little forgetful, especially him, not my mom, but he's a little forgetful with getting things done. Every year he's been doing it on his own. He's been bringing the card and everything to the place and everything, but I found the letters in the drawer, just put away. So I'm not sure how he forgot this year. I really don't.
How many years
Can
has
you
he
hear
had
me?
it for?
I can hear you.
Mr. Folano, this is Ann Danziger. I'm the assessor. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
I would, since today we can have people walk into our offices without making an appointment, and you've already been through your COVID-19. After you're finished with the BAR, I would recommend you stop into our offices, and we will put you in touch with someone from STAR, because there are certain things that can't be done. We cannot, the board is not permitted to review the missing, when somebody's late with STAR, but sometimes there are things that can be done, and if it's something that a good cause application could be made to the state, my people can help assist you with that, but I don't know if you've gone that route already.
I have not. I appreciate that the option.
So I would definitely recommend finishing up your presentation to the BAR today and come down right afterwards.
I appreciate it.
And you know where we're at. Okay, perfect.
Yes, I do. Thank you. Yeah. So that was my main presentation. I wanted to make sure that if there was anything we can do, we'll be able to do it for you.
Well, thank you for coming in.
Thank you very much, everybody. Thank you.
Hey, Gail, you want to give us the next?
Grievance complaint number 165028. Last name Penna, Penna. Tax map number 412119. Assessed value 65,200.
Mr. Penna, would you like to come up, please? Okay, at this point, I'm going to ask you to be sworn in by Mr. Wiggins.
Yes, sir. Good morning.
Do you affirm that the information you give herein will be given accurately and truthfully to the best of your ability?
Yes, sir. I
Please
do.
state your name and address for the record.
Joseph Penna, 155 South Ocean Avenue, Bayport, New York.
Morning, Mr. Penna.
Good morning.
Okay, how may we help you this morning?
I'm here today to try and get some relief on my real estate taxes based on two critical reasons. First, I purchased my home and
Okay, before we start, we're here to discuss your assessment, which basically affects your taxes.
Okay.
That would be the word assessment.
the two critical reasons are the inflated sale price on my home. I'd gotten into a bidding war against a contractor, and against my better judgment, I listened to my wife and two daughters, and they really wanted the house, and I grossly overpaid for it. And it got so bad that I wound up having to take a loan, personal loan from my little sister in order to afford to, to buy the house. But I realized that's my mistake. But then once I got into the house, one of the stipulations was I wasn't allowed to do a home inspection in order to have them accept my offer. I had reviewed the house a few times. I knew it had a lot of warts, but once I got into to the house, it's has a lot of structural and safety issues. We had planned on purchasing the home and saving some money over a few years, and then slowly, fixing it up. I mean, I'm a federal worker, so my income is not really like the rest of the people in my neighborhood. But this has been kind of like a dream of ours to get a nicer home. And so I issued pictures for the board to review. And I issued, I'm very familiar with homes in the neighborhood. A lot of these homes I've been in these homes. I've made offers on some of these homes, and they're all fully updated, high end. My pieces of property are similar in size, if not bigger than mine. And some do have pools, ponds. I mean, it is a very nice street. So I focused on my comparisons just on homes on our street, because I feel like I have good knowledge of all these homes and their taxes. I feel when I see what I'm paying and what now, because of a letter I received for a finished basement, they want to increase my taxes even more. I mean, my basement is uninhabitable. Just as of a week and a half ago, I had a huge flood again into my electric panel and on the south side of my wall. I need a whole new electric panel. The service coming down the house is in poor shape. My second floor framing, I've slowly had to rip out little by little the actual 2x8s and have it fixed. There's an 1 3/4 sagging on my 2/3 of my second floor. I did notice that when I purchased, when I was looking at the home, but, until after I closed on the home and I was able to get, one of my friends in there to take a look. It's, it was really bad. It was unsafe to move my family up there. All the bathrooms were renovated back in 1989, same as, with the kitchen. And, the family I purchased it from, they moved down at the end of the block, right on the water, built this huge mansion. And I'm finding out, they did not do anything to this house. They really neglected it. It's very disheartening, while they just didn't do some general maintenance and address these, safety issues, but they didn't. It's my problem now. All my windows are original. A lot of them don't lock, and they're off level due to the structural issues I have in the house. My first floor, kitchen, hallways, the tile floor, tiles are, cracked and loose from these issues as well. I mean, I bought a nice piece of land, basically. The house is deplorable, absolutely deplorable. And if I could take this back, I would. But because I'm a government worker, I'm here today, I never thought I'd spend more than $13,000 a year on taxes on a home in my lifetime. And then, like I had mentioned, I let my wife and daughters, I wanted to make them happy, and I didn't think the house was going to be in this horrific shape. So with these other homes,
Yeah, we just ask you a couple questions first. Okay, so I just want to understand you. Currently, you're not living in the house?
no, we are now. I picked the upstairs foyer, structure, and the master bedroom structure. The master bathroom we can't use. That needs to be gutted, and there is pictures in there where I showed like sagging with the sheetrock. That's in my living room. That's below my master bedroom and bathroom. I just don't have the money right now to address that. So we're using there's a small bathroom on the first floor, and my kids have a bathroom. My two kids' bedrooms, thank God, are they're pretty safe. So I didn't address those yet. But my air conditioning is one unit for the house. It's no good. My toilet in the master bathroom, we're not even using it, but I didn't turn the water off. That exploded a few weeks ago. The supply line. I showed you a picture of the ceiling. We unfortunately had a flood come from the second down to the first floor. I mean, it's one thing after another that I'm discovering. It's just, I haven't even, I haven't even gotten to everything yet. So,
Okay, a couple other questions.
sure.
Okay, so when did you purchase this house?
October 2019, sir.
Okay, and what did you purchase the home for?
$790,000.
Okay. You also stated that you're being assessed for a finished basement, or they increasing your assessment? And you're saying the basement's not finished?
I received a letter from
Okay,
the town's office. Yes, they FQ for a finished basement
okay.
code.
If agreeable, would you have any reservations, or would you be okay with somebody from the assessor's office coming down to look at your inventory, like to see
100%.
what the status is?
Yeah, total transparency. You can come see how we're living is fine with me.
And can we make that possible?
So,
sir.
absolutely can be possible. The one concern is what was and I do have to apologize. We've had a little bit of an issue trying to deal with getting a park ranger here at our building. So I was a little distracted at part of the hearing. But with regard to the basement, is he saying we increase the assessment after the sale and there is no, is it totally unfinished? Is it a rec room? What's
Well,
the
he's
status?
saying that he received a letter in the mail that they were gonna increase his assessment based on a finished basement. And he supplied some pictures, and he's stating that his basement isn't a finished basement.
So I heard him also discuss flooding and an issue with the property. Was the basement ever finished when he purchased it?
Yes, it's partially finished, Miss. They have some walls put up, but you know, with the water issues, we're not going to let our kids go down there. Plus, my electric panel hasn't been fixed yet, so we're constantly monitoring the electric panel for sparks and my electrician's supposed to come this week sometime. He was here last week.
When did this occur? When did this particular flooding issue occur?
It was that last heavy rainstorm we had about, I think, luckily I had my AC friend was over looking at the AC to try to get that work for us. It was about a week and a half ago. I don't
All
have
right,
the
so
exact date.
this is what we're going to do because we will take a look at it, but we'll have to keep an eye on it. We can't do anything going back before, because March 1st is our taxable status. If we were assessing for something there that wasn't there as of March 1st, that would be one thing. But we will keep an eye on this property so that it would be good for us to send someone down, take an inspection. We'll keep an eye on it. And in the event that the assessment should be reduced, if it's not, replaced to a full basement, whatever the scenario is, that would be reflected on next year.
Yeah, that's understandable. I'm willing to, whatever walls are down there, I'm willing to take them down. I mean,
yeah. So it'll be important to make sure that we have somebody come by and take a look.
sure. I'm willing to do whatever, I'm going to do whatever I can to reduce my taxes. I thought I mentioned to Nettie with the town office about having somebody come. I mean, it's just the fact that I overpaid for the house, and I realized the amount of expenses I'm going to have to incur over the next, I don't know how many years, as I'm able to save money and to do stuff. I don't want my taxes to be so high as they are now, and then have them go up for this basement that I can't use. And then I fix the house, and then my taxes are really going to go up even more, so it just
You can also do assessment estimate forms with our office. So if you are concerned or you are interested in, if you completely, go through whatever process you need to bring it back down to a unfinished basement, we could provide you with an estimate, an assessment.
Okay.
And then if you wanted, you could also ask for, if you get your insurance money, for your flooding, and you wind up restoring everything to a finished basement with heat, lighting, etc., what would the assessment be on that property? And we can give you those estimates.
Okay, that'd be great.
And that form is on our website. So if you go under the assessor's office, under the Town of Islip website, you will be able to find a residential assessment estimate form.
Okay, residential.
All right, and we always like our residents to know what they're, basically if they're making an accessible improvement, we do like them to have the opportunity to know what the assessment will be.
Okay, great.
All right, and I wish you all the luck, and please reach out to our office. We will have somebody inspect.
Yeah, your office has been great in the last few days, so yeah, I don't see a problem. They've been
All
so
right, great.
helpful to me.
All right, good luck.
Thank you, Ann. Thank you.
Mis-
Okay,
Mr. sorry.
hold on.
How you doing, sir?
Would you like to
Mr. Penna, my name is Bill Graham. I work for the town attorney's office. Do you have documents that you wish to present that were not included with your grievance?
No, the pictures, just speaking to Terry in the office, she guided me, provide pictures and she told me to research other homes in my neighborhood. That's what I provided so far today, sir.
Okay, so have you provided those pictures to the board?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. The board will consider your arguments in the assessor's position and make a decision.
Thank you, sir.
Okay. All right, look, before we do that, is there any other questions of the board at this point?
I just have one more comment to make, only in that Stella was able to advise me that with regard to this particular property, we picked up central air, an additional half bath, and tennis court, also an outdoor kitchen. So I just wanted you to be aware it wasn't just the basement, but clearly the condition of the basement and what you plan on doing with it will be very important for next year. So
And,
please set up your inspection.
Sure, and the tennis court is, full of cracks, so I've gotten it, it's not safe to play tennis on. My kids ride their bikes on it, but I've gotten estimates of $10,000 to $30,000 to have that repaired. And I can't see when that'll ever get done because I need to make my house safe first. And then that bar area that they did leave us, it has a sink. The sink is broken. You can't use it. The only thing on that.
Yeah, they didn't
countertop
put a
is cracked.
value on for the outdoor kitchen. That's what they
Yeah,
mentioned. They did
it's,
not put a value for that.
Sure. I mean, that needs to be taken down. It's a disaster. So it just, everything was neglected and pretty much unusable. And when you come and inspect, you'll see. You can look at anything you'd like. Just to see that, what a bad decision I made.
Well, we will be
Okay.
there for the inspection if you arrange it, and please don't hesitate to use those assessment estimate forms.
Great, thank you.
Okay, again, any questions of anybody from the board? Okay, there be no further questions. Mr. Penna, we'll take it all under advisement and we'll notify you at the end of July. And if
Thank
there's any additional information you'd like to supply or anything, please submit it to 40 Nassau Avenue within the next 10 days and with your complaint number on it. All right? Thank you for coming in this morning. Thank
And
you.
do I call now to make the appointment? Or there's someone's gonna reach out to me to make the visit?
I think you would have to set up the
Okay, I
appointment.
do
Just
that.
call the
Okay.
assessor's office and say
Assessor.
you would, you might want to add to that, Ann. You there, Ann? Okay.
Stella,
Ella?
Can you hear me? Yes, please
Okay, we
call
got
the
Ann.
office.
Okay, yeah, she said just call the office.
Call the office. Okay.
Yeah,
Thank
All
you
right.
very much for your time.
he's got to call Terry, but are we doing inside inspections right now?
Terry?
Is he in there? She muted.
All right, my
No,
advice would.
Stella, we can
call
hear
them
you.
and
Go
try to-
ahead.
Are we doing inside inspections right now, though?
I think what we could do is he'll call, try to set up an appointment and you guys can advise him.
Okay.
Thank you. All right, thank you, Mr. Penna.
Thank you all very much. Have a great day.
Gail, you want to give us the next complaint number?
Sure. Complaint number 162773. Phyllis, the last name, tax map number 184, block 1, lot 26.6. Total assessed value, $30,900.
Mrs. Phyllis, would you like to come up? Okay, take your time. Okay.
No, I just,
All right, first, I'm just going to ask you to be sworn in by Mr. Wiggins.
Sure.
Do you affirm that the information you give herein will be given accurately and truthfully to the best of your ability?
Yes, I do.
Please state your name and address for the record.
Joyce Phileas, 291 American Boulevard in Brentwood.
Could you spell your last name for me?
Sure. P as in Peter, Hilius.
Thank
I feel like
Good
it's about
morning.
to fall.
I believe you're here for an exemption.
Yes, for my mother, on behalf of my
Okay.
mother.
Okay, and what type of exemption was that?
She's part of the STAR program and has been for quite some time. She's been on time regularly, and she's on a fixed income. However, this time around, she missed the deadline for the application.
Is there any reason why, or she just forgot?
Honestly, she's beginning to forget everything. So I'm taking over her finances and everything.
Okay, is she under doctor's care or anything? Or?
Except for her regular
Okay.
checkups, yeah, but she's forgetting like regularly.
Okay. Okay, any questions of the board? Okay,
Like, I went into detailed, I filled out all the applications, and when this came in the mail, she didn't know why it was for. Like, she had forgotten.
okay,
So she's forgetting regularly.
okay. Have you filled out an application at all?
Yeah, I did all the paperwork. I included a letter, I included a copy of her taxes, everything.
Okay. All right, Ms. Phillips, we'll take it under advisement and we'll notify you at the end of July.
Okay,
All right, thank you for coming in.
thank you. Have a good day. Thank you.
God bless your mom.
Steve, is it too late for you to catch her and have her go down to our STAR office?
She has the senior exemption and you want her to do a good cause also.
Okay, if it would behoove you, probably to stop at 40 Nassau Avenue, the assessor's office, and just go over, let them guide you in the things that might be available to your mom. Yeah. All right, it would be worth a while just to get yourself informed. All right, thank you. You have a great day. Bye.
Thank you.
Currently, there are no attendees that wish to enter the meeting at this time.
Okay, as of now, there's no one else here, so we're gonna go off the record into someone should appear. We'll turn it back on. So please make sure you're muted and off. Thank you. Steve, I didn't mean to slip on
You are.
If everyone could please start their video one by one. Thank you. It looks like everybody's video is back on.
Okay, it is 11 a.m. and I'd like to officially close the morning session of the Board of Assessment Review. Thank you.